Good day, everyone. I have a 2017 Chevy Cruze Turbo Diesel, and I'm going to change the transmission fluid today. After looking the internet over, there really has been very little instruction on this particular vehicle, and I got it up on my ramps. Next thing I'm going to do, we'll just kind of take a peek there. You can go down and see the fill port, which is also the breather. First part of the step after getting the ramps is taking the cover off underneath the car. I'll rejoin you when I start that process. So I'm now underneath the car. There's this shield underneath here that's all got to come off. 7mm socket for the heads of the screws that locate it. And then there's two plastic push pins that I pull out in the front. So we're back underneath here. I got that cover removed. If you look, try and get a good shot here. This panel is only really held on by these screws, and they also hold the cover on. So since I'm going to do the double drop method today, after I took the cover off, I put these screws back in to hold this panel on. Otherwise, I was worried that'd fall off going down the road. So located the drain plug. That's it right there. It's 11mm. I'm going to proceed to drain the oil, and I'm going to measure it and refill the exact amount. Instead of doing the level check. I guess I could jack the back of the car up and put it on jack stands to get it level when I'm all said and done, but I think doing the refill method, the measured refill method, should work out just fine. This car has 30,000 miles on it. I'm doing this mainly as a preventative. I believe these transmissions aren't the cheapest things to replace, so I'm just going to try and get ahead of the game here. Look like any residue, if this is a magnetic plug, it doesn't show anything on it. So that works out to be 5.82 as I've measured at this point. And that's about right on the money what I've read. Everybody said it would take 6 quarts. So I will start the refill process so we can take it for a test spin and do the second drop following. I'm using today a Castrol Transmax Dextron 6. From my understanding, that's supposed to be the factory port for this transmission. Picked it up at AutoZone. I think it was like 25 bucks a gallon. Well, right now I'm just finishing up dropping the oil the second time. And I'll refill it. You can really tell by the stream there, but the color is very much improved from the first time I dropped it. That was almost black, and I just noticed in the bottom of my pan, in the jug I used to measure it, there was a lot of black flaky material in it. So even though this does have a filter, it is a good idea to get this oil out of it. Well, I got her all buttoned up. Yeah, be careful when you're torquing that. I think it's like 5 or 6 foot-pounds is the spec. I'd be real careful. That thing seems to be pretty soft. It's just an aluminum housing. Wouldn't take much to strip that out. I also changed oil today since I had the cover off. That'll about wrap it up for this project. I can put the cover back on, take it for another test drive, but I think we're good to go. So far, everything seemed to go pretty good. For just 30,000 miles, it just amazes me how dark the oil was and what was in the oil. Little black specks of some kind or other. I suppose it's clutch material. The car shifted, drove great. Otherwise, just like normal. I didn't do this because of a transmission issue. I did this just a preventative maintenance issue. Starting to see some comments on the forums that these transmissions might have, if you let them go too long, you might need to worry about transmission replacement or whatnot. I guess it might be too early to tell, but just trying to be careful. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Well, we got her all back together. Yeah, I believe the torque on that drain plug is like 5 or 6 foot-pounds. Double check that. Be careful. That housing's pretty soft. Don't want to twist that off in there. I also changed the oil today since I had this cover off. Made the job real easy. So just to recap, the oil that I took out, car 30,000 miles on, it was extremely dark in color. It wasn't burnt. Just a lot of, seemed like maybe like clutch material, a lot of black material in it. I feel that the double drop method works fairly well for this. This way I don't have to check the level. Be careful that with the level. So the first time I let it drain out for like 10 minutes till it got down to like smaller than like a tip of a pencil size stream. Closed it up, measured it, refilled it, test drove it. Put about 5-6 miles on it, brought it back, dumped it again. But the second time I waited 45 minutes to an hour until I buttoned it up. I actually let it quit draining that time. And it was almost 3/4 of a quart more came out than the first time. I measured it both times. So if you're not going to do, if you're not going to level the car and check the level with the bolt that's located right, it's on the side of the transmission over there. If you're not going to do that method, every time you drop it, I would measure it out completely and then refill that same amount. But otherwise, very doable project at home. Not too bad. I think the worst part is just taking this cover off that I got to put back on here. But otherwise, it went good. For the cost, it could save you a lot of money in the long run, especially on a car that's without warranty. You 85, 100,000 miles on it, and the transmission goes. It's questionable if the car's even worth it to replace the transmission at that point. So, yeah, have a great weekend.